You're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently from Jen Plessis, America's mortgage mastery mentor with over 37 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. Jen has been mentoring loan officers and realtors for over 15 years and speaking on stages across the globe. So settle in and get ready as Jen and her guests share their experience, passion, and strategies to help you crack the top producer code to reach new heights in your business. And now, here's your host, Jen Plessis, Mortgage Mastery Mentor and head chick in charge of Kinetic Spark Consulting.
Hey there, and welcome back to this episode. I'm your host, Jen Plessis. I'm so excited today because I have Cindy Van Arman and Arnam. I knew I'd screw it up. Cindy Van Arnam. And I just met her at a great women's organization or women's event in Las Vegas called Pop and Now. So funny, yeah. Pop Now. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same or whatever, which is I know, it's pretty funny. The Network of Outstanding Women and Power of Pink, right? Those are the two things. And she has received an award, which she has right behind her. Wait, there's mine. There's mine way back there. There's yours. I received Mentor of the Year. What did you receive? And that wasn't this year, but last year. A couple of years ago.
Rising Star 2021, actually. Rising Star. There you
go. Rising Star 2021. So I love that. And so we met each other there and we both had the opportunity to speak. So we both went after each other and said, hey, be on my podcast. So we'll make sure that we have the link to the podcast that I was a guest on hers, as well as, all the links that we'll have here. But Cindy, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm honored and I'm really excited to have our conversation today.
Good. I am too. Okay. So let me do just a brief bio. We'll have her full bio sitting here. Cindy doesn't play by the rules. She rewrites them with a fearless spirit and determination to shatter the status quo. She leads the charge in helping intuitives get paid for their gifts. She doesn't see problems, only opportunities. And with a knack for turning chaos into clarity, she is the go-to expert in simplifying the online space for sustainable revenue, right? And one of the things that, and then you can read her bio. And I want to say thank you first for being here today and watching or listening to our show, because I know everybody's really busy. So it's an honor to have you as a listener. And I appreciate that so much. And moving into a little bit about Cindy. So you were previously a virtual assistant, and now you are a social media guru. And I know that there's some kind of marrying going on, because when I was on your podcast, we were laughing about, the whole world about being a virtual assistant. So tell us a little bit about that aspect of it. And then we'll go back further here in a moment, but tell us a little bit about your life as a virtual assistant, why you became that, and then, how you've transformed and how you're helping other virtual assistants. I don't know, but let's find out what you're doing now. Maybe they're calling you too, because they're going, oh, I can't do it either. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I discovered very quickly that I wasn't capable of working for someone else. And so I had to start my own business. And what do you do when you start a business? You go with what you're good at. And I've always been really good with technology. It doesn't scare me. I'm willing to click buttons and find out what happens. And so I learned how to build websites and how to do all the techie stuff that a lot of entrepreneurs don't love.
Right.
And so it just made sense for me to go out and promote myself as a virtual assistant. But I very quickly discovered how much I did not like doing it. Just because I'm good at it doesn't mean that I should be doing it. And I think that speaks to everybody. So I ended up going on a spiritual journey. I learned all about universal laws. I became a numerologist. And then I got confused because I had this business about technology, but I had all this spiritual awareness and I couldn't figure out how to fit the two together until about a year and a half ago, where all of a sudden the light bulb went on, the sky opened, angels sang, I don't know. But I all of a sudden saw the clarity of how I could bridge the gap. And so I don't work with virtual assistants. Maybe, but mostly who I work with is people who are the intuitives, those who have these spiritual gifts terrified of technology, don't really want the quote unquote business. And I help them create the structure and the mastery required to be an entrepreneur in the online space so they can get paid for their gifts. And I bring all of those pieces to play in the game, the technology, but also the numerology and the laws and all those other pieces.
Yeah, I love that. I was laughing. I was kind of laughing inside when you said, so intuitives, and I feel like I'm an intuitive anyway, and I'm actually known as as the intuitive connector because I can
Yeah.
connect so intuitively, but I'm not an intuitive in that sense. But you were saying intuitives that don't like tech, and I'm like, well, every business person doesn't like tech. Because normally what we like, unless we're a tech business, right? We like to do what we like to do and can't stand tech. And I mean, here's an example. I'll ask you afterward, but Zoom all of a sudden records every single time that I come on, and I've turned the buttons off. I've said, don't do this. And all of a sudden it's doing it. So I have 2 recordings for every Zoom, and one of them is just stupid. I get on, I hit the button and I go, don't record. And then I got to record again, and these kinds of tech things drive me nuts, even though I feel like I'm pretty techie, right?
Yeah.
But it's taken hours of my time, a little here, a little there. Let me check it again, maybe at whatever. And it's stupid. It takes too much hours. So, just the way it is. Okay. So now we know what you're doing. We're doing this. Let's step back a little bit further, a lot further. And let's talk a little bit about your path here, on, breaking through glass ceilings and what that looked like for you in your life, because I know you've had a little bit of a tumultuous path.
That's one way of putting it.
And I
Yes.
love that you're so happy about everything too. So there's got to be something that you've been able to uncover and break through, that you can share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a really happy childhood until I was 16 years old, and my dad died suddenly. And right, probably about less than 24 hours before he died, him and I got into a really big fight. And I remember just kind of slamming my bedroom door and sitting down on my bed, just angry and saying, I just wish you would die. And 24 hours later, he was dead.
Oh my
So
God.
that created a plethora of beliefs in my brain about how the universe was against me, God hated me, God wanted this to happen. And I just started, you name the bad decision, I made it. And so I quickly fell in with the wrong crowd. I just didn't believe that there was any point here anymore. And I wasn't actively trying to kill myself, but I definitely didn't care. And so very quickly fell into cocaine abuse. I was, the audience probably doesn't know how much this is, but it was a lot. I was doing an 8-ball a day for 3 years straight. That is a lot. And I was at the point where I wasn't sleeping for over a week at a time. I wasn't eating anymore because cocaine makes you lose your appetite. So I dropped probably 50 pounds. At the same time, I had reconstructive jaw surgery because I was born with a really bad underbite and I felt really self-conscious about it. And so my mom agreed to have this surgery, but I had to wait until I was in my 20s and fully developed.
Right.
So I had this jaw surgery while actively doing cocaine all the time. So I lost even more weight because I was wired shut for 5 weeks and couldn't eat at all.
But you
So
could
there was this
start. Right.
Good. Yeah. So I went through all of this, and then, as you read in my bio, I'm a rule breaker. I don't play by the rules. I'm always pushing the status quo. And one day, throughout all of it, my mom just kept saying, I love you, but I don't love your actions. And it was that love that carried me through. And one day it just clicked. Oh, there is love on this planet. And so instead of going to formal treatment, I made a decision to move to a country that had the death penalty if you do drugs.
Oh my
And that's
gosh.
where I did my rehab.
What country is that?
I moved to Jakarta, Indonesia. I lived in Indonesia for a year. And then after that, I moved to Dubai for another year after that as well.
Wow. Wow. Does Dubai have that same rule? I have no
It's
idea.
very strict punishment there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to
Wow.
get, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's one way to do it. I mean, there's getting on the wagon and falling off the wagon, and then there's getting on this chopping block, basically, is what you
Pretty
were,
much.
prepared to do. Wow. Wow. So, you know, as you were going through all of that, you know, one of the, and it sounds like you just didn't care, you know, and gosh, it even sounds like the day that you started to care, you were just through this glass ceiling. You didn't have these situations where you're, you know, trying and failing and trying and failing. You just
Mm.
kind of went cold turkey, or did you? And if you did, tell us a little bit about how that felt, you know, how awful
Mm.
that was going through that charred glass.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I ever fully went back into that 3 years. That 3 years was definitely like my breaking point. But there was some shards of glass along the way for sure. I came back from overseas and ended up getting a DUI. I could never hold a job for more than a year. I would just get bored or always think I could do it better than the boss. And so we would end up fighting, and I just couldn't find my path. And was drinking too much and dating the wrong boys and abusive relationships. So
Mhm.
there was definitely a lot of those shards of glass as I was cleaning up my mess. But yeah, I think that was really the point of just like I was done. I was never going back to that situation again. But walking through the DUI, having my mom drive me around it in my late 20s, that wasn't very fun. And having abusive relationships, I mean, you name the type of abuse, it's happened in my world. So
Wow. Well, do you think that, you know, at that time you were attracting it, and, you know, I know you're engaged now. Do you feel did you feel at some point in time that you were attracting all of that abuse, or, and how do you feel now? I mean, when you met your fiance and you said, "Hey, you know, you know, I mean, how do I want to phrase this? Like when you met your boyfriend, you think, here we go again, another abusive relationship.
yeah,
And how did you discover that, hey, maybe it was you that attracted the right person, not that he was the right guy that didn't abuse you? You know, do you understand what my question
yeah,
is? I'm trying
yeah,
to
I
figure
do.
out, yeah, because I have another girlfriend that um she's been raped 3 times. And she
Mhm,
said, you know, I attract it because I'm thinking, my gosh, you know.
mhm,
So
yeah.
so how did that
And
break happen for you?
yeah, well, we don't consciously attract it. It's not like I'm going out trying to find it.
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, I think when it was all going down back then, I didn't have any idea of how the universe worked. I was very much, I'd never gone on a spiritual journey. I didn't understand how the universe worked. And so I just thought what I saw in front of me was just what it is. And then I met a spiritual mentor. And funny enough, spiritual mentor also presented abuse and narcissistic behavior. Um,
I know someone else
right?
who
I
was
was
the same
attracting it.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was attracting it because I needed to learn that I was attracting it.
Mhm.
And then I could change my internal landscape to reflect what I wanted to see. And funny, when I met my now fiance, I was in no, I don't want a relationship. I don't want a boyfriend. We're just having fun. That's all that's going to happen. And we went through some pretty traumatic stuff ourselves in the beginning of our relationship. He was in the psych ward for 6 weeks with a bipolar manic breakdown. And that was how we started our relationship. So it was literally like blew up everything right from the very beginning. But we walked out of that whole situation hand in hand. And I walked through all of my reflection on abuse. He walked through all of his, and we did it together. And now we're inseparable. It's pretty awesome. So we got engaged a few months ago.
Yeah, awesome. That is so cool. I love that. Yeah, I love that story. And you know, and I hope that it continues. I just hope that it continues to flourish, and that, you know, one of you doesn't have some kind of setback that just, you know, tips the thing. I
Mhm.
just think that you're,
Yeah.
you know, stronger together. My husband and I have been married for 40 years, and one of the things that we say all the time is that, you know, we're a team. And I always, you know, demonstrated as we're a lean-to, right? We both lean
Yeah.
on each other all the time, for
Yeah.
whatever, you know, like weaknesses or strengths we have at any given moment. You know, we're just always leaning and we never fall. And I think that that's,
Yeah.
you know, super powerful, for you. So congratulations on that. I love that.
Thank
Um,
you.
okay, so let's transfer into something else. I want to talk about what you do for social media. I downloaded your free gift that you have for my listeners, called Authentic Content That Converts. And you say here it's for healers, light workers, that doesn't mean not working a lot. That isn't like I work lightly. Light
No,
workers, spiritual leaders, right? Coaches, mentors who want to get paid for their gifts. Well, I'm a coach and a mentor, and I want to get paid for my gift no matter what it is. So, I love that you, put this together and saying, hey, look, you need to be authentic when you're out there doing content out in the world. And this is something that all of us need to hear, quite frankly, because a dear friend of mine is the person who discovered the Kardashians, and every time he says that, he apologizes. I apologize for that. But when I think of unauthentic, I think of that. I don't follow them. I've never watched anything. I don't even know if I would recognize them on TV or anything. I mean, that's how much I don't really care. But
I
what
wouldn't know either.
what I do hear is, is that fake? Is that real? I mean, we could put this on Paris Hilton. We could do a lot of different things. But unfortunately, that's what happens in social media, is that, as not an unknown people, we look up to these known celebrities and we try to emulate what they do instead of, there's a huge gap, a big gap in that, because what they're doing is so not real and what we're doing is so real, but we can't find that happy medium of how do I be authentic and not fall into this kind of trap. So tell us a little bit about your system, because I know you've got, I think it's 6 steps, right? Yeah, the 6-step framework of this on how do we become truly authentic, but also be attracting people. It's one thing, I can be authentic. I could get up and not have makeup on and be authentic, but is that going to make people come to us and bring business our way?
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to my story of where I've come from. I'm not afraid to share my story. And I think that's where most of us, especially as the intuitives, the healers, the spiritual leaders, have a hard time sharing those vulnerable stories. Because what we see on social media, especially with the Kardashians, is just all the flash and all the hype.
Right.
And we used to see this back in the day with the business world too, where, the rah, 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 I made $1 million last year. Here's my car, here's my mansion. And
Yeah.
that got old real fast, because come on now, that's not what most of us really want in the long run, right? And so as I was developing this, and I've been in the social media space for over 8 years now, and I am in no stretch a social media expert. You will not see me dancing and pointing at things on TikTok, and I have not figured out how to do reels or anything.
Oh,
But there are 6 things. There are 6 things that we need to be aware of. And the first one is being vulnerable. We need to be vulnerable in sharing who we are. That doesn't mean you have to put your whole life story on social media. But with all the noise and all the AI and all the, I don't know if you're a bot or a real human, when we speak our truth and we show up as ourselves, the potential clients out there go, oh, they're real. And they resonate the most with our stories. And so when you share parts of your life, I talk about being a cocaine addict all the time. I talk about my trauma all the time, because otherwise people just think, oh, let's put her up on this pedestal because she's got it all figured out. Trust me, I can tell them. Yeah, exactly. The second thing is consistency. I see this happen all the time, where there's this big push for a promotion or something, or somebody goes to an event and they're posting, and then they burn out because they don't have systems in place, and they go silent for a month.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
My team will tell me, now, while you're there, you need to post.
Right.
And I go, okay. Because I'm actually a very private person. So I have a hard time doing this stuff. And other people are always posting for me. But then they'll call and say, you better start posting, you better start posting. And so I go, I'm a flurry of it, and then I forget. And then they tell me again. So I know I'm totally that person. Yeah.
Yeah. So having systems in place, I recommend that so long as you're consistent in posting, if you were to post 3 times a week, you would be better off than this big flurry and then nothing.
Right.
Because what consistency does with your audience is it generates trust. If you're going to just show up for a month and then disappear for a month, how can I trust that you're going to show up for me?
Yeah.
When I'm looking for a coach, right? And
Yeah.
so consistency isn't about posting 15 times a day. And if you go to my profiles, I do post 5 or 6 times a day, but I'm ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my top recommendation is once a day. And it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be big, long form content. It doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes I just ask a 1 sentence question. It can be really simple, but consistency is the key. So minimum 3 times a week, 52 weeks a year. Just do it. Get it done.
Okay, so now here's my question as we finish up our time together. Engagement. It's one thing to, and I hear this all the time, and I've got some thoughts on this, but I want to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Engagement. We talk about engagement all the time. Engagement is not, I posted and I got 100 likes. I posted and 3 people shared, and I got a bunch of likes and kitty cats and whatever. That's not engagement
No,
in my eyes. So
no.
what do we do when we post something and we have all these responses, we have some comments, we have some sharing, we have some likes and whatever? Do we just look at it and go, yay, yay, yay? Or how do
No.
we reply? How do we respond so that we can create some
Yeah.
conversation?
I love this question because this is like my biggest thing that I stand for in social media. Social media is social.
Yeah.
It means it's a relationship tool. And so we're not just posting for vanity metrics and, oh my God, everyone loves me. It's post to
Yeah.
build relationships. And so have conversations with these people. I am actively in the DMs talking to people and asking questions and how can I help you? And here's a free thing and try this out. And so when I post a question and people comment below, I reply to every single response,
Through
even if
DM.
it's just Barnes.
DM, correct?
So I will comment on the post and say, check your DMs. And
Yeah.
then I will go deep.
So you're
Yeah.
going to the DMs because, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because you
that's,
can't
I
build a
think, better
relationship
than
from a post.
liking the reply or thanks or whatever,
Yes.
which we all do. I mean, there's days
Yeah.
that you're just like, I'm busy and I need to do, but I love that you're doing that. Now, the question then becomes, what do you say in those to get engagement? Because I will tell you, and I know we're talking about social media, which is Facebook. When I'm going
Yeah.
to LinkedIn, as soon as I connect, someone wants to connect with me and I go, okay, connect. I get this long DM that says, I've been listening to your podcast. No, you just connected with me, right? Or I went through your website and you're missing some things for SEO, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or, if you need more leads, and I'm thinking, this is malpractice because you haven't even diagnosed what I need. And I immediately disconnect. Immediately go, nope, no longer. So what is it that you're saying that's engaging? Is it just waiting for the response for the comment and then saying, hey, I'm a coach and this is what I can do for you?
Oh God, no, please don't do it.
Oh, thank you. Good. I'm glad you're saying that. Give us a tip on what we should be saying.
Ask questions. So if you go to a live networking event or a live event,
Yeah.
you don't walk up to a complete stranger and say, hi, I'm a coach, you should hire me. That's just not what you do. And Facebook or LinkedIn or any social media platform, it's the same. Ask questions. So I have a rule.
Tell me about yourself, right?
So acknowledge, relate, ask.
Okay.
So acknowledge something that they've done. Maybe they asked a question on your post or you've looked at their profile. Acknowledge them. I see you. So I will say something like, oh my God, I love this about your profile, or I'll say something, and I keep it related to business. I stay out of the small talk, but I say something like, oh, I noticed that you requested my free guide on authentic content that converts. How are you doing? I love what you're doing about this healing industry. I see that you're struggling, or I'll relate to them in some way. So relate being the second one. Oh, I totally relate to that. I used to be the same way. I had this struggle, right? And then ask a question, ask an open-ended question.
Right.
So I will ask something like, what do you find the biggest challenge on staying consistent in creating content? And then wait for the response. I'm not pushing anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm not saying I don't want to just hire anybody. I don't want the wrong clients to get on a call with me.
Right.
And so I need to make sure that I'm finding out who they are too. So it's a two-way conversation.
Yeah, I love that. I've never heard someone say that, and it's interesting. And I'll tell you what part I'm talking about is that I use this. it's different, but it's the same. But I use this analogy all the time. Whenever I have a 3-day, virtual event, which by the way, I'm going to have one, but I'll say it at the end.
Yeah.
But when I have a 3-day virtual event, how many people come on and they're just, with their blank, whatever, they don't even have pictures, right? They're just screens.
Yeah.
And I say all the time, like, would you ever go to networking and register, like outside the door, register and get your little name tag and thing, and then run inside and run into a closet and then go, I'm over here. I have a question, right? I mean, you would never do that, but
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. And it's funny because I had a live event before COVID, because I was always doing this anyway. And I had this live event and I had them put up a black curtain on the side of the thing. And everyone kept going, what's that? And I go, I just want like half of you to go over behind the black curtain right now and just, go ahead and stand over there. And so a bunch of people went. And we counted off by 1, 2, 3. So we kept the whatevers. And okay, so everybody who's a 2, everybody go behind the black curtain. And then they got there and I didn't give them any more instruction. And it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
they were like,
hilarious.
hey, they were peeking around and raising their hands. And I just said, it's the funniest thing. So I love the story that you're saying about if you were at a networking event and you walked up to someone and they said, oh, I like your dress, because you have a dress on and that's your post. I like your dress. And that you go, oh, and you walk away.
You should hire
You
me.
didn't like it. You didn't comment on it. You didn't relate to it. You didn't comment back to them. You just looked at them and walked away.
Yeah.
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're pretty funny when we get on social media. We treat it as if it's something else, and it's not. It's social media. It's social networking.
I love that you keep saying that. That's so funny. You're going, it's social media. Yes, we know it is. Yeah, I really love your attitude towards this. I think it's just hilarious that that you have this thought process behind it. And I mean, look, we all have talked to people who do social media, but there's always you've done something that is a differentiator in this podcast, right? You've done something to differentiate yourself, and to be authentic and real in the process as well. So wow, thank you so much. Now, I know you've got a great gift, and the gift is the authentic content that actually converts, so you can make money with your gifts. And we'll have the link in the show notes so that everyone can get a copy of that. And I've been using it and taking notes on it as we've been going through this process here. So for those of you that are watching and you see me shifting my eyes, that's because I'm taking notes, just the way I am. And I really, really appreciate that. And if someone wants to work with you, wants you to be their coach, their guide in putting out their content, tell us a little bit about what that looks like for them. Are they paying you on a monthly basis? Do you set up a roadmap? Do you give them a calendar of ideas? How do you tend to coach people?
Yeah, so I work in a lot of different ways because I think there's 3 things important to the online business space. Number 1, you need to know who you are. So I teach self-mastery, and that's a 10-week course that we go through. The second piece is self-expression. So that's where the content comes in, but it's more than that. It's learning how to have sales conversations and how to be comfortable in asking for the sale and expressing yourself through video and all those things. So I teach that as well. And then the third thing is sustainability in your business, of having some systems, because most of my clients hate systems because it feels too structured and they can't be intuitive. And so I liken it to a sandbox for your intuition to play in. You need to have some sort of foundation and 4 walls for you to bump up against. Otherwise, you're running naked down the beach. That's for your personal life, not for your business.
Right.
And so I help you set up those systems and those structures. And because I was a virtual assistant, I tell you what, I got standard operating procedures and checklists like you wouldn't believe. And you literally just check things off the list. It's really easy to follow.
Yeah. And I mean, that's powerful too. I mean, I have a program called Leap, and part of that is systems, right? And you've got to have systems in place, and it's imperative. Otherwise you can't grow and scale, which is what I do. Right. So I love that. So Cindy, leave us with, and by the way, I know you're doing a TV documentary about your life.
Yes.
I know. Have you finished filming?
Yes, filming is complete. It should be open. It should be available to the public by the spring. So
Awesome.
I know it's going into
editing
in January.
In the spring. Where is it going to be showing? It's going to be showing on what's
Tigo
Tigo's?
TV.
Tigo
It'll
TV.
be on TV. Yeah.
Yeah, TGO TV, Tigo TV. It's a friend of ours. Her name is Teresa Goss, and she goes by
Yes.
Tigo. And okay, good. So that's coming out. What's the name of it so people can look it up?
Yellowbird.
Yellowbird. Why was it named Yellowbird?
Well, I share a very intense story about my life, and it leads to, storytelling. What's the lesson in it? And it comes out the end and we see the yellow bird as freedom, love, happiness, joy, bliss on the other side. So it's a symbolic gesture.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a yellow rose is peace. It's a peace rose and stuff. Yeah, it's my favorite rose. So now everybody knows I love peanut
Love
butter,
it.
cookies, and I love yellow roses. So everyone knows.
And trees and food.
Right, and apparently trees and food. Well, I'm a vegetarian, so I like when I cook my food, I'm like, look at my food. It looks like your food, and you could eat it. It's so good.
There you go.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Okay, leave us with a quote or a mantra that would tie all of this up into a bow.
Mm. You deserve to have every single extraordinary experience that you want, and the only thing stopping you is you. So stop it.
Just simple and to the point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cindy, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I know that everybody who listened got something from you. Everybody who listened. I love your mantra. I can't wait. We'll put that on the meme so that everybody can see it. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. And I want to say thank you to you for listening today, for taking time out of your day. I know many of you like to work out, like to ride bikes. I hear that all the time. Hey, I run and I listen to you. And I know some of you drive in your car and you're doing, I call it car college, right? Where you're learning in the car and everything. So I thank you for listening in. I just ask you to pay this forward, share this with someone else. Please share it with someone else so we can continue to grow our listenership. It's so important. And don't forget to click on the link below and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see all the great content that we're putting out over time. And again, Cindy, thank you so much for being a guest on my show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Next time. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Be sure to subscribe to hear more sales tips, ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you with your personal and professional growth to multiply your results in record time. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Wanting more beyond the podcast? Join our Mortgage Lending Mastery membership community, where you will find extended interviews with our favorite guests, weekly training, tips, and insider secrets, fireside chats with Jen, free content, meet, share, and collaborate with other members, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about this exclusive content. Mortgage Lending Mastery is an Industry Syndicate charter podcast. Industry Syndicate is the first podcast network specifically for the mortgage and real estate industries. Get the Industry Syndicate app in the App Store or Google Play today.